little bit of home, a little bit of light, and a whole lot of love into the heart of the United States Marine Corps. Well, then I have got to move the sand pile there back over here. Ampy stared at him in utter disbelief. You mean move it back where it came from? Oh, goodness. Well, why do you have to do that? Because Sergeant Carter said so. Gomer answered simply, entirely lacking any trace of resentment. Oh, Gomer, you are being punished. Oh, it was because of me, was it not? She cried, her heart breaking for the sweet boy. Oh, no, Ampy, it was not your fault. Gomer, why? Oh, Gomer, I am so sorry. Miss Taylor, you are not supposed to talk to the men when they are on a detail. Sergeant Carter interrupted, stepping between them to assert his authority. I came back to. You see, the men would never get their work finished if they have civilians talking to them. Carter explained, his voice laced with forced patience. I know, but... Look, why do you not let me show you a shortcut to the gate? Now, you just go right down this road right here, and it will run right out to the main street, where you can get yourself a bus. I am sure you do want to take a bus, do you not? Carter practically herded her down the dusty path, his hands gesturing wildly, leaving no room for argument. Thank you very much, she huffed, her face red with indignation as she marched away from the base, her opinion of the United States Marines forever tarnished. As Ampy stepped out of the heavy iron gates of Camp Henderson, she noticed a large broadcasting van parked along the curb. A man in a sharp suit holding a large silver microphone was animatedly speaking to a gathered crowd. It was Johnny Clark, a well-known local media personality, broadcasting his popular daily segment. I am sure our listeners were fascinated by your stories of your son, Mickey. This is a Johnny Clark at Large show, talking to you from outside of the gate of Camp Henderson, where we have been interviewing friends and relatives of. Excuse me, madam, excuse me. Would you mind talking to us for a moment? Johnny Clark said, spotting the flustered Ampy storming out of the gates. What? She blinked, startled by the sudden microphone thrust toward her face. Tell me, how did you enjoy your visit to Camp Henderson today? Well, not very much, I can tell you that, Ampy declared, her maternal outrage finding a perfect public outlet. I have never been so shocked and surprised in all my life. I just came here to visit my son. Whoa, 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 just a moment. You obviously have a great deal to tell us, but first, what is your name? Johnny asked, sensing ratings gold. I never heard anything like it in all my life, she continued, ignoring his question entirely. Whoa, 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 wait a minute. Who was hollering and who was screaming? Sarge. No. Who was he hollering and screaming at? Johnny tried to guide the furious woman back to a coherent narrative, moving the sand pile from one place to another place, and then back again, not making any sense at all. And then he came along, and he just about pushed me down the road, she exclaimed, her hands flying in the air for emphasis. No, Johnny gasped theatrically. Yes, he pushed me down the road. Oh, who pushed you? Sergeant Clark, she announced, slightly mixing up the names in her flustered state. Sergeant, I find that hard to believe. Well, he did. But it was the hollering and screaming that upset me. Back home, if a man behaved like that, we would not have a thing to do with him, she stated proudly, defending the honor of Mayberry. Well, it certainly is interesting, Miss Taylor. But, we are running out of time, and I would like to hear more about this. I am sure our listeners would. I wonder if you'd like to appear on my television show tomorrow night, Johnny proposed, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Yes. Are you going to be in town tomorrow night? Yes, I am. I am coming back to see Gomer. Wonderful. Then I will expect you on my television show. That winds it up for this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Johnny Clark at Large show. He concluded smoothly, leaving a trail of public relations disaster in his wake. Back inside the secure walls of the military base, the fallout from the live radio broadcast was instantaneous. In the small, cramped administrative office of Company B, Corporal Boyle slammed the telephone receiver down. He wiped a bead of cold sweat from his forehead and rushed out to find his superior. Company B, Corporal Boyle, he mumbled to himself, rehearsing his excuse. He burst into Sergeant Carter's office. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Sir, I did not push her. Yes, sir. I will be right over on the double. Carter was pacing the floor frantically, having just received a very terrifying, very loud phone call from the base colonel. But I did not push her. Some people can really fool you. She seemed like a sweet, motherly type, Carter bemoaned, rubbing his temples in absolute agony. She is a killer. Boyle, a killer. This is all your fault. Boyle, all your fault. The sun rose early the next morning over Camp Henderson. The crisp morning air was usually shattered by the booming, terrifying roar of Sergeant Vince Carter waking his men. But today, a profound and deeply unsettling silence fell over the barracks. Carter stepped softly into the room. He walked gently down the center aisle, stopping at each bunk. Good morning, gentlemen. Time to get up. Rise and shine. Up, 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 upper belly. Up, 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 upsy-daisy. He arrived at Gomer's bed. The young man was still snoring softly, entirely immune to the gentle, soothing words. Pyle, Pyle, Carter whispered, tapping the bed frame lightly. It is 5:30, time to get up. A new day is dawning. Pyle, Pyle, Carter continued, his voice dripping with an unnatural, sugary sweetness that made the other awakened Marines shudder in their blankets. Gomer finally blinked his eyes open, stretching his long arms. Oh, did you holler, Sergeant? No, I did not holler, but I have been trying to get you up for a little while. Carter smiled. It was a terrifying grimace, his teeth bared, his eyes wide, straining against every natural instinct in his body. Well, that must be the reason I did not wake up. I am used to getting up when you holler, Gomer explained logically. Well, I did not holler. Carter maintained the horrifying smile. Something wrong with your face, Sergeant? Gomer asked with genuine concern, leaning forward. What do you mean? Well, your lips are spread out funny. I am smiling, Pyle. Did you never see anybody smile before? Carter asked, a hint of his usual edge creeping into his voice before he forcefully suppressed it. Oh, sure, but it looks kind of funny when you do it. Why do you not just get out of the sack? Pyle? Carter suggested gently, turning away. All right, everybody. I would like to see all of you gentlemen out on the street in 3 minutes. 3 minutes, fellows. Hurry it up. As the men scrambled into their uniforms, murmurs broke out across the barracks. Hey, Sergeant, what was that? What was that Mr. Nice Guy routine? Are you cracking up? One of the braver corporals dared to ask. No, I am just getting in practice. Carter muttered softly to him, dropping the smile for a fraction of a second. Practice for what? For that Taylor dame. When she comes out here, I have got to show her a different Sergeant Carter before she goes on that television show tonight. Oh, yeah. After my little talk with the colonel, I got the definite feeling I better come up with something if I want to keep these stripes, Carter admitted, gesturing to the heavy chevrons on his sleeve. His career was on the line, and all because he had yelled at a civilian. Oh, is that what he suggested? A new image for Sergeant Carter? No, he did not suggest it. It was my own idea. It is just for one day, and let the dame blow off steam. Cannot kill you to keep smiling for one day, Carter rationalized, taking a deep, shuddering breath. No, but it is liable to make me awfully sick. The corporal chuckled before running outside. Out on the pavement, the platoon scrambled into formation. Carter stood before them, clasping his hands behind his back. All right, gentlemen. Let us line up quickly, if you please. That is right. Quickly. Nice. Very nice. Careful, Pyle. We must not stumble. Gomer hopped into line, struggling to buckle his web belt. I am sorry, Sergeant, but the reason I was late is I could not find my belt. Instead, an explosive tirade about military readiness. Carter merely nodded with profound understanding. Oh, well, that is all right.